It's a great day to play, everybody. Welcome in. Whether this is your first time here or you are rejoining us, thank you so much for being here with us today. You're always loved, appreciated, and welcome in this channel. Now, I have to apologize because I was MIA yesterday. We did the Spring Day video on Tuesday, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put out I wanted to watch the explanation video the next day, and then we went later on Tuesday. We went and we got our first round of shots, and I was out. I was out all day yesterday. I thought that maybe I canceled my stream. I thought maybe I'd be able to get some videos, and no, I couldn't. I was in so much pain. I had so much muscle pain yesterday and stuff. So I apologize. You didn't get a video from me yesterday, and that is rare. But I'm glad that you're here back with me today. So here's what we're going to do. It's been pretty split. The comments said that there are two videos that I needed to watch. The one was this BTS Spring Day MV Explained, and this is by Bulletproof Vibes. And the second one was the one by Italian Army. That those were the two that I needed to watch, and it was pretty split between the two of them. But it sounds like from the vast majority of people that there is a good split between both videos. That there are things that the videos bring, that both videos bring. So what we are going to do is we're going to do both videos. I'm going to do them in two separate videos, though, because emotionally, I've heard that these are supposed to be really, really emotional. I don't know that I could do them both in the same video. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do this one first. This is the one by Bulletproof Vibes. We're going to do this one first. I'm going to do a couple of videos in between today, and then I'll get the second one out later today. So you'll have both of them today. If you're watching this one first, you will have a second one later today. So you'll have some time to, decompress just like I am going to have. But if you haven't already, and you want to make sure you hit that second video, don't forget to get down and like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the little bell notification as well, so you know when those videos come out, and you can join us along on our journey. So why wouldn't you want to? I want you to be here. I think it'll be amazing. All right, so without further ado, let's get into this. Let's check out what is behind the MV. All right. I'm gonna end up pausing this a lot, I know, during here. I'm gonna just try to read along with it, and then if I can't, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pause it. So here Taeyong is feeling survivor's guilt. The guilt of having survived while his friends have passed. Many people who have lost their loved ones often yep, I knew that I was gonna do that. Many people who have lost their loved ones often feel like committing suicide themselves so they can meet the other person in the afterlife. Ooh. Already got some chills from this one. She's feeling guilty about surviving. I came out of this alive, but my friends didn't. The Seoul survivor. Jungkook is also a survivor, thinking about his lost friends. Jimin even goes back to the sea to reminisce. Do you notice all the abandoned suitcases and clothes in the carriage? Oh. These abandoned suitcases and clothes represent all the students who went on their field trip and their belongings, but never came back. It is widely known that the Korean government has been heavily criticized by the way they handled the tragedy. The media didn't report the full truth. The families kept in the dark about what happened. Okay. I feel bad about this. I'm not aware of this tragedy, and I would like to maybe they'll go into it later, but I'd also like to know about it first. So Give me just 2 seconds so I can read up on what happened here really quick. Wow. Okay, so there may be obviously all of Army is gonna know what this is about, but we do have a lot of other people that do watch these channels that we're introducing to BTS that might not be familiar um, with this. So I wanna just kind of read a little bit here. Um, the Sewol Ferry, I'm probably saying this wrong, and I really, really apologize if I'm saying it wrong, but the Sewol Ferry disaster occurred on the morning of April 16th, 2014, when the ferry MV Sewol was en route from Incheon towards Jeju in South Korea. 68 25-ton vessel sent a distress signal from about 2.7 kilometers north of Byungpyeongdo. Out of 476 passengers and crew, 304 died in the disasters, including around 250 students from Danwon High School. Of the approximately 172 survivors, more than half were rescued by fishing boats and other commercial vessels that arrived at the scene approximately 40 minutes before the Korean Coast Guard. The sinking of Seoul resulted in widespread social and political reaction within South Korea. Many criticized the actions of the ferry's captain and most of the crew. Also criticized were the ferry's operator, the regulators who oversaw its operations, along with the administration, President Park Geun-hye, for her response to the disaster and attempts to downplay government culpability, and the KCG for its poor handling of the disaster, and the perceived passivity of the rescue boat crew on scene. Outrage has also been expressed against initial false reporting of the disaster by the government and Korean media, who claimed everyone aboard had been rescued, and against the government for prioritizing public image over the lives of its citizens and refusing help from other countries, and publicity downplaying the severity of the disaster. The disaster has sparked both national and international debate about South Korean culture of obedience. On May 15th, 2014, the captain of the 3 crew members were charged with murder, while the other 11 members of the crew were indicted for abandoning the ship. An arrest warrant was also issued for Yoo Byung-eun, sorry again on the pronunciation, guys, and owner of the Cheongjin Marine, but he could not be found despite the nationwide manhunt. On July 22nd, 2014, police revealed that they had established a dead man found on the field 415 kilometers south of Seoul was you. Okay. That gives you guys at least a brief introduction. I'm hoping that the majority of this information is right. Wikipedia, I know, isn't always correct in its information. I'm sure that those of you in the comments that have found something in here wrong will say it. I'm not going to read the rest of this to you. I want to go through this entire thing because it sounds like there's a bunch more information. I'm going to go through and read the whole thing before I continue with the video, and I'm just going to cut this out. So I know I have a better understanding of what's going on. Oof. So I went through and the entire article has like very, very detailed information, like a timeline of what happened, of uh, of navigation points, of accounts by the crewmates, of the captain. It's a devastating story. It's a devastating story. And I read kind of the first part. It sounds like that there's multiple negligence in the story. One was the modifications that were made to the ship. It seems like while they were approved, weren't actually approved, that there was misinformation given for those approvals. And then even after that, there was further modifications made. And then there were weight limits that they were supposed to adhere to if that was going to happen. They did not adhere to those weight limits. And then it also sounds like the main captain for the ship that was not present during this particular time had raised concerns with the company about the weight and about the issues that the ship was going to face, and was written off and almost threatened to be fired. Now, again, this is all according to the Wikipedia article. There are many citations, so it does look legitimate, but some of this information may be incorrect. So I apologize in advance. And then when they made a sudden change, that there was a lack of communication. There's two different testimonies, it sounds like, came out. There was a lack of communication, but the sudden shift, the sudden wheel turn, made the ship start listing. That's the most common theory, of course, and then the weight didn't help that because the center of gravity was off. And then I guess on top of the tragedy that happened, then there was this whole media issue where, like, the media came out and there was all kinds of differing stories where, like, people said that none of the, like, the students that were on the ship were all recovered, and then, like, that changed. Like, there was just all of these different things, and there was reports that, like, there was US troops and Japanese troops that were trying to come in and help, and, like, they allowed some of it but didn't allow them to fully assist. Like, it's heart-wrenching. Just to read it. So now that we have a little bit better backstory, now we're going to continue with this, which makes a lot more sense. So it is widely known that the Korean government has been heavily criticized by the way it handled the tragedy. The media didn't report the full truth. The families kept in the dark about what happened. And now we are back to where we left off. Most tragically, the captain told the students to stay in their spot instead of evacuating. Most of the students drowned while the captain and many crew members evacuated the ship. So according to the article, like, not only were they told to stay in, they were told multiple times. And, like, it was just going through my head of, like, if you're a young student, or really anybody on the ship, like, the ship started listing, and then instead of telling people to evacuate right away, they apparently didn't consult the manual. They were worried that by people moving around, it would cause a further issue. So they told everybody to stay in their place. This happened over the course of almost like a half an hour. Like, there's detailed reports. If you want to go to the article, there's detailed reports, and I'll list the Wikipedia page below. But there's detailed reports of, like, minute by minute of what was said and when it was said according to the logs. And it was like for a very long time, they were telling people to stay in place, even as water was coming onto the ship. They were telling people to remain in their place. So, like, they didn't even have a chance once, like, the water was in there. Like, if afterwards, then they were trying to get them to evacuate. And then by the time that they were trying to tell them to evacuate, that it was too late, and, like, some of the communication system on the ship weren't even working anymore. So they weren't even to relay that message to everybody. In the lyrics of Spring Day, Rapman mentions Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is a movie by Korean director Jun Ho Bong. The movie takes place entirely on a train. The movie symbolizes human society where the people in the front of the train, upper class government, treat the tail of the train, regular people, in an inhumane way.
Belong to the front. You belong to the tail. Know your place. Keep your place.
I believe this reference is a criticism to how younger people and ordinary citizens in South Korea are expected to always follow orders, even if it means being oppressed by authorities, just like what happened to the students on the ferry. Ugh. In the Snowpiercer movie, one guy finally decides to revolt against injustice. So he sets out towards the government of the train to confront the train's owners, the government. Here, Rat Monster is doing the same thing. Amelis is the name of a fictional town. It's from the book The One Who Walks Away from Amelis. Synopsis: the one who walks away from Amelis is the story of a utopian society whose survival and happiness depends on the suffering of the child. In short, it's about how someone's happiness and prosperity means something someone else is suffering. There are those who ignore the suffering to stay happy. Ignorance is bliss. Then there are those who walk away from it. Ugh. Here, Hobie and Shiga represent citizens of Amelis. Amelis is full of people, thus no vacancy. I'm like writing this down. I'm very intrigued by this book. Rat Monster represents someone walking forward to confront injustice. The scene mirrors a scene in Snowpiercer. When the main characters reach the middle of the train, he is attacked by people who would not let the rebels through. Although it looks like a fun scene, it's actually not. And I had actually mentioned this because I didn't know any of this, obviously, but I had mentioned this in when I did the original video that like it like looked like it was supposed to be fun, but all of them looked really distraught. Like they all looked really, really unhappy. So it did like it was almost like they were longing for something. See Rat Monster's somber expression. He is trying to confront injustice in the society and government, but people are bringing him down and literally throwing things at him. Here Jin represents the ones who have passed away. He looks up all the others who are climbing up, growing up, while he is stuck at the bottom, unable to grow up and go up with them. To me, now that I know the story, like it almost seems like this could be very, very literal of the people like that were looking up from the ship that couldn't get out as well as people were escaping, and the crew and everything were leaving as people were still there. Rusty merry-go-round by Jungkook represents a loss of childhood. Ugh. The next few scenes are basically the survivors of the tragedy going about with their regular lives, having fun with friends, doing usual growing up stuff, etc. However, they realize they still feel the emptiness of loss. This is, that's the scene I was talking about right there. This scene right here was like, I think the point in the video where I really started was like there's something wrong, there's something missing, there's something lost here. Here Jimin symbolically picks up. Let's go back a little bit. Sorry, guys. Here Jimin symbolically picks up the shoe of a survivor washed up on shore. The upcoming laundry scene is a very meaningful and important scene. Why? Fighting back tears, an 18-year-old boy who spoke for the survivors said, "Grown-ups are constantly telling us to forget and cheer up, but we will remember and recollect our friends. Because not forgetting them is what we can do at best. Just as we will remember them, please don't forget them." 18-year-old civil survivor article from the Daily Mail. Oh, it says don't forget on it. And then the clothes. Oh. The mountain pile of clothes represents the victims. Oh, I want to. Closes Bodies, The Art of Christian Boltanski, No Man's Land, Highlights Death and Human Condition. Christian Boltanski proposed his idea for art installation at the Park Avenue Armory in 2010. No one expected him to use so many clothes. Sitting at the center of the expansive installation was a 40-foot tall mountain of clothing flanked by an industrial crane. Oh, I was just kind of reading this. In 2010, an artist named Christian Boltanski held an art installation of 40-foot tall mountain pile clothes. Each piece of clothing was deposited on top of the mountain pile, symbolically carrying the souls of those who inhabited the clothes to a higher place. This might have been an inspiration of the clothes pile. As life moves on, the boys realize it's their duty to seek justice. The yellow ribbons behind are similar to the Sewell Ferry Yellow Ribbon campaign. Here, Jungkook finally wakes up and runs the same path as Rat Monster to seek justice for what happened. He thinks he's in the fight alone, but the theme symbolizes that even if justice is achieved or not achieved, when what's done is done, the dead will not come back to life. However, as long as we remember the ones who have died, they will live in our memories. Here, Jungkook striking a match is reminiscent of the scene in Little Match Girl, an old fairy tale, where every time she lights up a match, she sees her loved ones who have passed away. In the previous scene, he was alone, but after striking a match, he had everyone around him. Do you notice the clothes pile outside the train? I didn't. The clothes pile outside of the train symbolizes how the dead is outside of the world being the train. It is a gloomy sight. However, this is how beautiful the remains in our memories. In the Snowpiercer movie, the humans are stuck living inside the train because the world outside is completely frozen. It represents how many of us are stuck inside a society or government that is oppressive and with no way out. However, one of the characters, a Korean guy, suspects that there is the possibility of life outside the train. There is a way out of the oppressive system. How did he know? Snowflakes are falling, BTS Spring Day lyrics. He saw a snowflake enter the train for the first time in many, many years. Snowflakes would not be able to form in the temperature as sub-zero or frozen, so he realized that somewhere outside the Earth is slowly warming up again. There is hope for survival outside. Here, Jimin steps out of the train, out of the oppressive system that is society and the government that had tried to downplay the tragedy. He invites us with him. The survivors feel free and liberated. tree represents hope, a new life, a spring day. Many cultures' shoes are hung on trees to commemorate the dead. Just as we cannot forget them, we ask that the citizens of this country also never forget them. Shin Young Jin, Seawolf Survivor. Thanks for watching. Oh man. Very glad that we're only doing one at a time, and I'm not going right next to the other one. There's no way. No way without a break could I do that. Whew. There's a lot to say, but it's really, really hard to gather words right now. I think there's a couple of things, like super, super important things to talk about. First one, thank you so much to Bulletproof Vibes for making this. I do understand that these are just theories. And from all the comments and the articles and things that I've read now about this, it does seem that there's also a difference between like the words of the song versus the MV of the song, that there's two different things. A lot of people left comments about how like sometimes speaking out against or talking about certain issues is kind of a no-no, and so they left it up to interpretation, and the band themselves has said that like it's open for interpretation. But there seems to be a consensus that it does derive around the tragedy. But how much, like, how incredible is it that these guys came up with something this deep? For those of you who have like paid attention to the channel or have found out a little bit about I really love like classic literature, like classic American literature. I collect a lot of classic, like first editions of classic American literature books, and I love that at one point in time books use so much symbolism, and I always love when like music, video games, books, like just people in general like use symbolism to convey messages, because it feels really powerful to me. But like I was already feeling some of it in there. A couple of people commented, so like it was crazy how much, without knowing about this, like how much I kind of hit. Like there is a lot that I missed, but like the law, like I picked up on the loss. I picked up on a lot of the stuff, including like going through the different motions. I picked up on like feeling like that you were missing people and running after it. And then this obviously filled in a lot of the missing pieces to that. But like it's just so incredible for a music video, and also incredible that they'd be like obviously it's not always, if you're within a government that consistently has a narrative or a message out there that they want to portray, and this is, I think, the same in the vast majority of countries, even in democracies like America, like the media gets to say what they want and oftentimes drives that narratives. I'm really sorry, guys. Hold on. They get to drive that narrative, and I think it takes a lot of courage to be able to do something this way. And I can see why now people said like since its debut, like it's been on its chart, the song has continuously been on the charts, and I can see why. God. It's absolutely beautiful to commemorate tragedy, but obviously the tragedy is not beautiful, and I think that we as people need to do more and do better to hold those in power to account for their actions and to make sure that things like this don't happen. And it starts hitting you harder, like obviously like losing friends and family, like you kind of feel that if you've ever lost But, like, I don't know, man. Ever since becoming a dad myself, I couldn't imagine getting that news, you know? And what these parents must have been going through during that time while, they go through these emotions and they're told that their kids are safe, or that they were rescued, and then, like, literally, you go through this emotion, you hear that this event happened, you worry about your kids, and you're told that they're safe, and then it's all taken back, and they're not, and I don't even know. I don't even know how I'd process that. Um, you guys weren't lying, though. This one hits, and, man, has it been a journey since that first video, huh? When I I remember seeing the first video of Butter and reacting to it and being like, "Oh, they're just a boy band." And don't get me wrong, I don't even say boy band in a wrong way because I think that there have been many impressive boy bands out there that have had messages and had impact, but what a what a change. But I'm happy for it, and this is why I love the journey, and this is why I love, 'cause man, can music make you feel things that some other things just can't, and, I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, for being on this journey with me. We will continue this later. We're gonna do the other one by Italian Army later, so, you can keep an eye out for that tonight or wherever you are, probably, quite a few hours from now, there'll be another one coming out. So keep an eye out for it. Thank you all so much. Leave your comments below. I do read them. I always really, really appreciate them. Thank you guys for helping me through this journey so far. Don't forget, if nobody told you they loved you today, I love you. You're appreciated. You are always welcome in this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to check out the next couple of videos coming out. And finally, it was a great day to play. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.